Now this is a car that we've been seeing around for a long time on the Indian roads. 2006 is when the Verna was first launched in India. Of course, it's had updates and model upgrades. 2010 saw the Verna transform. And of course, 2011 was that all-new fluidic Verna which captured a lot of hearts with its design and turned a lot of heads. 2014 also saw a little bit of tweaking, but there's a lot that's happened in the segment since. New cars like the Ciaz have arrived, and it's about time the Verna had a big change. Well, the big change is here. This is the 4S fluidic Verna. Changes are all apparent up front. Let's take a closer look at what they are. The front is entirely new. The Verna now comes with a thick chrome slatted grille in the shape of a smile that actually makes it look quite like the Corolla, and a more angular pair of headlamps. The fog lamps are reworked too, and though they're similar in shape, they're placed differently. The bonnet too carries different character lines. At the rear, there's a 4 LED effect on the tail lights, and the exhaust is hidden from view to give the tail a cleaner look. The rear bumper, as a result, looks large and bare. The changes definitely make it look fresher, but it doesn't have the wow effect it had back in 2011. But this Verna's not just a facelift. There are some changes under the skin too. The Verna's diesel engine has always been a smooth, refined engine. I think, in fact, one of the best in the class. It's barely audible. You can hardly tell that you're driving a diesel engine. And a few tweaks to it have made it even better. Of course, these tweaks are going to affect efficiency too. The diesel engine's fuel economy is now upped by 1.3 kilometers per litre for the 1.4 version and 1.8 kilometers per litre for the 1.6 litre version. It's not only efficiency but refinement and emissions that have improved with the new low-friction coating on the pistons. The drivability of the engine is largely the same, and most of the power comes in after 1800 RPM. The petrol engine, however, is not as pleasing as the diesel, and the 1.6 petrol in particular simply doesn't translate its 121 bhp onto the road. Now don't get me wrong, the engine is perfectly capable of handling city or highway, but it doesn't feel like the most powerful engine in its class. However, it does score on refinement. Both cars now get drum brakes at the rear instead of discs. Now since the brakes don't grab as quickly as before, it has settled the Verna under hard braking. High-speed stability of the Verna has also improved, and the steering also feels better weighted, but there's an inconsistency to this steering, which means that it just requires constant inputs from you, never lets you really feel secure, and it's the one thing that lets the Verna down. This is really the big area of change, the Verna's more settled nature at high speeds. The reworking of the suspension has made it more composed, be it the stability or the ride quality, both of which feel much better, especially when you build up the speeds. The Verna doesn't feel as twitchy as it did on a highway and is far more settled than before. It still isn't in the league of the competition, and it gets a little unsettled over minor undulations on long sweeping corners, and still feels softly set up when you have to go round a series of bends. But it is a huge improvement from before. The ride, as I said, has also improved. The pliancy at low speeds is still there, but gone is the tendency to bottom out through larger potholes, thanks to the newly etched bump stops. The suspension works a little more silently too. And it's not only those changes but other ones that make the Verna's backseat a more comfortable place to be. The seat cushioning is now a little softer, so it feels much nicer, especially on long journeys you'll be a little more comfortable. And there's better under-thigh support too. However, the seat is still a little low and the window line high, so you can feel a little hemmed in. There are other ways to open up a little more space for yourself. Well, there's a nifty new addition, this ergo lever as they call it. Allows you to push the front seat forward whenever you need extra legroom for yourself, providing, of course, nobody's sitting up there. Other than that, there hasn't been much change to the interior. The inside is, well, identical. Not much changed around here. Of course, there are a few tweaks. You get things like 1 GB internal memory on the audio system. But that's pretty much it. It's really changes under the skin more than the ones on the surface that make this Verna a different car. The new 4S fluidic Verna is not entirely a new car, but a lot has changed. The looks have been refreshed, and especially when viewed from front, it is quite different. But what this has really done is held on to its strengths and improved on its weaknesses. Now, the strengths like the premium plush interiors, the fact that it's feature-loaded are still very much there, and its weaknesses, which were ride and handling, have definitely been addressed. And though the dynamics are still not comparable with its rivals, it has definitely closed the gap.